everyone, Gaming Smiler here, and welcome to my review of Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, which was released in 1995. It's directed by Joe Chappelle, and it was composed by Alan Howard. The music was composed by Alan Howard and Paul Rev Johns. Anyway, this is, as I said last time, Paul Rudd's first film appearance, and yeah, it's not that great. It's not quite. I'd probably give this a 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10 cult babies. That's to do with the film. Don't worry, it's just to do with the thing in the film. Basically, this film is about Michael Myers hunting down a baby for a cult. That doesn't sound very Michael Myers-y, but whatever. Doesn't sound like what this Michael would do. But yeah, that is basically the plot. The non-spoiler plot. But yeah, it's about an hour and 28 minutes. I wouldn't exactly recommend it. Gets kind of boring after a little bit. Michael has like 3 different actors in this one, but he's played mostly by George Wilbur, who I believe played him last time. But yeah, this takes place about 6 years after the 5th one. But yeah. Anyway, this film was basically so bad that it killed off this timeline and caused them to start a new timeline. Just forgetting about these films. But yeah, basically, that's it for the non-spoiler stuff. And this is also Donald Pleasence's last film role. He unfortunately died the January before this was released. And yeah. But that's basically all that I gotta say about any non-spoilers. But yeah. So let's start with the spoilery stuff. So the film starts off with a weird title sequence with cult stuff and the birth of a baby, which turns out to be Jamie Lloyd's baby. I didn't know it was Jamie Lloyd until about halfway through the film. That I in my notes I've just got written Mom, because I didn't know it was Jamie. But yeah. So the man in black from the previous film appears and he steals the baby. And then he draws a weird like triangle symbol like this. It's like someone like overdrew a line on a triangle. And he draws that on the baby, and it's the Cult of Thorn. We'll find out more as it goes on. But yeah. So a nurse decides, fuck it, I'm gonna help Jamie out. Jamie can escape with her baby. I ain't helping this cult out no more. And Michael hunts down the nurse, and he shoves her head on a spike that's in a wall. Michael has gone from being the serial killer who's really terrifying because he has no reason for killing and he just kills anyone, to being a henchman. A main henchman, essentially. Because he just goes around doing what the cult says. And I am reviewing the theatrical version and not the producer version. Because I know that the producer version has a different ending, where Paul Rudd as Tommy Doyle wears one of the cult uniforms, but I saw the one where he beats the shit out of him with a pipe. But yeah. So anyway, Jamie escapes. She gets in a truck. The trucker gets his neck snapped by Michael, and she drives off to Haddonfield, and Danny. There's this kid called Danny who's being looked after by the Strodes. He has a nightmare, and the man in black is there, and he's like, "Kill your family, Danny." And Danny's like, "Mom, help! There's a strange man telling me stuff. He's in the corner, and he's not there. Ooh, so spooky." But yeah, Deborah. Her name's Deborah Strode, by the way, and her husband's a dickhead. But yeah, turns out this is That's his granny, I'm sure. But yeah. So Michael ends up tracking Jamie down, tracks her down to the bus depot in Haddonfield, and we see Tommy perving on his neighbour. He's got a camera set up, and she figures out that he's perving on her. But this character that he's perving on is actually going to be important to the plot, and her name's Kara Strode. She's played by Marilyn Hayson. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, basically, as this goes on, we find out that actually that this is Tommy. He recalls what happened in the first Halloween, and he basically listens to the radio where there's this radio show of this guy who's taking calls on the night before Halloween about Michael Myers, and lots of people are like, oh, I fancy Michael, or oh, I want Halloween to come back to Haddonfield because it's been outlawed for some reason. But anyway, so she phones in, says, hey, Dr. Loomis, if you're still alive, can you help me? And Tommy is listening, and then we see Loomis, and he's typing on a typewriter, and he's like, oh, I'm retired. And the radio presenter's like, oh, pretty sure Loomis is dead. And Loomis is like, no, just very much retired. And the guy can't hear him because he's just saying it to himself because he's a fucking crazy bastard. But yeah, basically, Michael arrives at the bus depot. She runs off down to the bathroom, and she puts the baby in a miniature cupboard, but I don't remember seeing that. But she hides in a stall. Michael goes after her, and the last stall, she's hidden in the last stall, and Michael busts down the last stall, and she's not there because she's went out the window. So then Michael leaves and falls after her, and he follows her into a barn, and he kills her with a piece of farming equipment. Basically, he impales her on it, and it's like this machine, and he turns it on, and it like shakes, and it cuts her about, and after she tells him that he can't have the baby. But yeah. Anyway, so Tommy ends up I forgot to tell you how they end up at that place. Basically, Michael's in the car and she's in the truck, and they drive off, and then Michael bashes her, and she drives off into a farm, into a pumpkin patch, because it's Halloween, and that's when they end up in the barn. But basically, Tommy figures out that she went to the bus station. He figures it out because in the phone call, there's this announcement that wasn't in the phone call when she phoned in on the show. It just is now. And he goes to the bus station. He asks about the time. But yeah, as that's happening, Loomis is at Smith's Grove, and he's trying to get records on Michael. And there's this doctor who's there's Dr. Terrence, played by Mitch O'Ryan. He comes into importance later. But yeah, Dr. Terrence tries to persuade Loomis back into like becoming a psychiatrist again, but he's like, nah, fuck that. But Tommy finds the baby anyway in the bus station, in the bathroom, and it cries. That's how he finds it. And her plan could have been shot to shit if it cried while Michael was in the bathroom, but it didn't, so they were lucky. But plot convenience there. But anyway, so So basically, Loomis goes to see the body, and in the barn there's a fuck ton of hay, and in the hay is the symbol that I talked about earlier, burned into it. And yeah, it's kind of dumb. They call it his calling card, but that's never fucking happened before, so it doesn't make any goddamn sense. Also, he's got it on his fucking wrist here, and that's why he won't die, essentially. But yeah, so basically, it turns out that Danny, as I mentioned before, he comes back in, and there's the Strodes. Hold on. basically, there's a Halloween film. Hold on, mate. Michael gets tricked. Oh yeah, the toilet paper trick I forgot to mention. But John, basically it's the next day, complete. It's Halloween in Haddonfield. This is before the baby thing. This sets up a character. Basically, Cara and Danny and the Strodes are all having breakfast, and we meet John Strode, aka Deborah's husband, and he's a fucking dickhead. He chops down a picture of Michael Myers that's been put out the front by the kids because they live in the Myers house. Because it turns out that he's actually the brother of Laurie's adoptive father, who sold him the house because he couldn't sell it because it's the Michael Myers house. But yeah, Michael's not very happy about that. But anyway, basically Tommy ends up going to the hospital to try and get the baby dealt with. As I said, these notes are kind of all over the place. Also, the the way that he finds the baby's dumb as well, because he goes to the phone. There's a blood trail that nobody sees that leads to the bathroom, and that's where he finds the baby in the cupboard. Like, this place has been open for hours, and no one's either looked at the floor, saw the blood trail, cleaned it up, or even went to the bathroom and went in that cupboard. Yeah, it's kind of dumb, but yeah. Anyway, back to the Strokes. John's a cunt. He slaps Cara. He's abusive. Everyone's scared of him. And it turns out that Cara has a brother. He doesn't do much. He's just trying to get into this lassie's parents who wants to protest for Halloween to be back in Haddonfield because Michael Myers is gone. But he's not fucking gone, and everyone knows this. Because it's Michael, every time he seems dead, he always comes back. But anyway, so, as I said about Tommy going to the hospital, Tommy goes to the hospital to see if he can get the baby put in, for protection, but no. He ends up running into Loomis. The security come after him, because he's a bit fucking kooky, because, the first Halloween happened to him. And, he ends up leaving with the baby, and he runs into Cara, and he tells them not to go to the Myers house, and he tells them to come with him, and Loomis tells Deborah to, Loomis goes to the Myers house, tells Deborah, get your family out of there, Michael Myers is on the loose, and this is his old house. And then Deborah phones John up, and she tells him that she's going to get the kids out of there. They're going to go somewhere else, and she tells him that that she knows the truth now as to why they live in that house. As I mentioned, because John's brother couldn't sell it and it was cheap. But yeah, John's like, you can take the kids and go, but I ain't leaving the house. So yeah. Anyway, and in the end, Deborah gets chased down by Michael and gets her head cut off with an axe that she put in a box earlier. But yeah, so Cara goes home. The door's locked, so she goes around the back, and then she keeps walking around, and there's a white light. It turns out that Danny and Tommy are in Danny's room, and they go to Tommy's because Tommy tells her, yeah, by the way, Michael's on the loose, and this is his old house, so get the fuck out. So they go to Tommy's, and Tommy lives with this old woman, and Danny looks out the window and he sees Michael Myers. This is late at night, by the way. It's the Halloween night. It's not very well edited. I'm not gonna lie. This film's editing's a bit shit. But yeah. So Danny sees Michael and he blinks and he's gone. Tries to tell his mum, but she doesn't give a fuck. Cara she takes the baby from Tommy and it soothes. And Tommy takes a look into the runes. The rune that was carved, the fucking symbol. It turns out it means thorn, and it's a demon, and it's to do with sickness on the night of Halloween with Sam Hain. You know, they bring the Sam Hain thing back from Halloween 2 after not mentioning it for like 2 fucking movies. But yeah, so child sacrifice and protect the rest of the clan and stuff like that. Celtic stuff, Celtic belief stuff. Anyway, so they want the baby to sacrifice it, but that's not going to happen. But they turn around and they find out that Danny's gone, but he's not actually left the house, because forgot to mention, Danny almost killed John at that breakfast scene, because when he slaps Danny's mom, Danny goes to stab him, but like the knife is like this far away from his gut. But yeah, so he's just chilling watching fucking Dracula movies with the granny, and basically she tells him all about Halloween later on. But Loomis is back at the hospital, well, the morgue, I think, and they say that they found placental fluid, and that's when he figures out that the baby is actually Jamie's. And yeah, he tries to go get the baby, but they end up leaving it at the house, and it gets taken. But anyway, as I said, Tommy goes to the Halloween fair that's happening, and the old lady tells Danny all about Halloween and the Sam Hain shit and all that, the boogeyman, and why we celebrate Halloween. Then Danny hears the voice that tells, and the granny says that she was babysitting Michael when she wasn't, and she says that Michael on the day in the original heard the voice which told him to kill his family, but she only killed his sister. He didn't kill his entire family. But yeah, so there's a bit where basically there's a celebrity that's at this Halloween fair, and anyway, he ends up getting killed by Michael. He basically says that the boogeyman ain't real, and they're gonna go do the show at the Myers house, because it turns out that the guy that I was talking about, the brother who was trying to get into the girl's pants, who was leading the thing, lives in the Myers house, and she tells this guy this, and so they plan on taking it there. Michael ends up slitting the guy's throat in the van, and then the girl and the guy go to the Myers house, and they have sex. Basically, that's how that ends, and then Michael kills them both. He basically gives the guy, he goes for a post-sex shower, and he hands him a towel, and then he kills him by slitting his throat, because Michael only has like 2 moves. But also there is one bit that I find that I really like about this film. There's this child, and she stood under a tree, and she goes, "Mommy, it's raining red, it's warm." And Tommy watches, and Tommy looks up, and he sees that the presenter, her body is hung up in the lights in the tree, and then the branch falls down. Everyone panics because holy shit, there's a dead guy. But anyway, John goes home. This is before they get to the Myers house. I'm mixing things up, but it doesn't matter because this movie's shit. The editing shit anyway. But John goes home. As I said, he said he was planning on going home, and he does. And the lights go out, and he's like, "Ooh, the boogeyman!" Ooh, basically taking the piss. But Michael follows him behind as he goes to the fuse boxes, and he shoves him into the fuse box, and he shoves him in there for so long that his head explodes from the amount of electricity, which wouldn't actually happen, but it's cool to see. But yeah, anyway, after the sex, and the guy dies, it's the woman's turn, and I'm trying to remember how he does it. Hold on. You find the point that it is. Oh yeah, we don't see it. We do see it actually. Beth phones her. Her name's Beth, alright? I didn't know about that until about that point. But Kara phones Beth, telling her to get the fuck out of the house, And then Michael stabs her as she's on the phone in the back several times. Just grabs her and he's fucking stabbing the shit out of her back. And she dies, obviously. And Danny goes across the road because Kara's a shit parent and isn't paying attention. And the baby's gone. And yeah, well, the baby ain't gone yet. But she follows him into the Myers house, and she picks up a tiny fire poker thing, and she finds both of them dead in the bed, bleeding. And then she runs into Michael, and then they have a fight, they have a tussle, and she knocks him downstairs after Deborah's body falls. But yeah. But she knocks him downstairs, he gets knocked the fuck out. She tells Danny to stay where he is. She lifts Danny across, and then Michael grabs her by the ankle. And another chase happens. And they get back to Tommy's house. The baby's gone. Door knocks. Dr. Terran is the man in black. He was the man in black the whole time. Because when they get back to Tommy's house, Loomis arrives there, and it's Dr. Terrence, the man in black the whole time. But yeah. Anyway, then there's a bunch of guys that act like Michael Myers, dressed in like cult outfits, with the thorn symbol stuck like in their chest, on the chest of the suit, and then they knock out Kara. They take her, and it turns out the granny was in on it the whole time too. But yeah, so anyway, they figure out where Loomis figures out where they're meant to go. Well, Kara doesn't get knocked out, she jumps out a window, but they pick her up and take her anyway. But Loomis figures out that they need to go to Smith's Grove. And so him and Tommy do that. They go their separate ways. Loomis goes to go and find Dr. Terrence, and Tommy goes to find Kara. Anyway, they both find what they're looking for. Loomis gets knocked out, and Tommy ends up running into Michael Myers. Well, after he runs into a crazy woman who asks him how it feels to be damned, but then turns out she's the damned one the whole time because she got fucking stabbed by Michael. But yeah, Michael appears, and it's quite funny actually, because they like Tommy stands there for a second like, oh shit, as he's bashing the door with an fire extinguisher, and then he gets faster and faster with it as Michael comes closer. He busts the door down. Kara gets out. They make their escape, but Michael grabs her by the hair, and then bang, Michael gets hit. But yeah, there's this operation scene. Basically, they end up in another area, and of the place, and Dr. Terrence is like, haha, you can lose the robes, it's not Halloween anymore. And then they go in and they do this operation thing. I don't know what they're operating on. It ain't Loomis, it ain't the baby, it ain't Danny. It's just something. And Michael goes fucking ape shit. Not on Danny, not on the baby, not on Kara, not on Loomis, not on fucking Danny. No, not Danny. Oh man, my mind's forgetting. It's not on. Oh, I'm forgetting his name. Anyway, Tommy. Yeah, it's Tommy. Why am I forgetting his name? But it's not on Tommy. It's on Dr. Terrence and everybody else. He takes like this machete thing, and he just starts killing them all. He doesn't kill Dr. Terrence. Dr. Terrence gets away. He follows behind them as they run to another room. But then Michael catches up and kills him. And then he tries to find them. He tries to find the other ones, but then Tommy injects him with this thing. And Kara beats him with a pipe a little, but he knocks her out of her hand. And then things keep going on, and Michael then ends up with Tommy grabbing the pipe and just going fucking ham at Michael, and to the point where like he starts bleeding, but his blood looks like dehydrated piss. So yeah, there's just this green like liquid just on the mask as Michael's getting beat, and yeah, that's not the end of it yet. Basically, they leave. There's anyway in the room. I forgot to mention there's a bunch of fetuses and stuff. But anyway, Tommy also tricked Michael yet again, thinking that the baby's there, but the baby ain't there because it cries. But that's before he gets the smackdown. And then Tommy and Cara and Danny and the baby all leave, and they leave Loomis behind. Loomis tells them purposely to leave him behind because he's got business to settle. But then the next thing we see is Michael's mask is still on the ground, though Michael ain't on the ground. Michael ain't there. And then we hear Loomis scream, and that's the end of the film. But it just ends there. Nothing. We don't know what happened to Loomis. We don't know how Michael dealt with him. We don't know. Hell, it might not even have been Michael. It might have been someone else. I know it obviously is Michael. I'm just saying that, but it could be someone else. But yeah. So this film wasn't that great. As I said, 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10 ritual babies. But yeah, cult babies. But yeah, this film was bad, and it left a blemish on some people's careers, I think, but it didn't leave a blemish on Paul Rudd. Obviously, he's doing good now. You know, he's got Ant-Man. I don't know how long he's going to be Ant-Man for, but you know, Ant-Man films aren't that bad, especially not as bad as this film. But yeah. Anyway, as I said, this film wasn't that great, and it resulted in an entirely different timeline after this, because Laurie Strode would come back in H2O, you know, Halloween 20 years later, which is now 21 years old. But yeah, I'll be reviewing that on the next one. But I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, leave a like. If you didn't do it, you do it. I promise H2O is definitely better than this film. By a little bit. By quite a little bit. But yeah. Pretty sure I give it a bit of spoilers. But anyway. Hopefully see you next time. If you want to help me out, why not the subscribe button? And if you don't, it's up to you. But if you want notifications, you got to hit the bell, because that's the thing. And I'll hopefully see you next time. And good